That's what I need right there. This date is a little embarrassing to show you. Man, that's tight, but it is moving. Okay, it's getting better now. Holy smokes. Look at that. Crush the filter. That's less embarrassing. And in my defense, this tractor does not get a ton of hours on it. So yeah, the oil is old, but I don't think it's wore out yet. In my shop, I started writing down oil capacity and drain plug size on a bunch of different vehicles over the years. You can see some of these I don't even own anymore, but they're still up here, you know, for old time's sake. And I have to tell you, this is one of the most convenient things that I've done in this shop, and I reference this list all the time. Well, it might be tough for you guys to see, but I think we're pretty good right there. I've got a couple more little maintenance items I want to hit on the New Holland here, and then I've got a little job for it. That's what we're doing today on Farmer Tyler Ranch. If you thought the engine oil filter had been on there for a long time, I don't even want to tell you the date on that hydraulic filter. I will tell you, it's not the factory one. I have replaced it once after the initial break-in. And if you're asking yourself, why put that filter change off for so long? It looked pretty easy to do, right? And it was. But that filter costs a ridiculous $200. So it's been a really easy thing to kind of kick down the road. Let's get the bale unroller off of the tractor, and then I got to run it down to the ranch to get the 3-point spreader. Some of you might remember that back when I planted the hayfield, I had these 2 bags of vetch seed on the pallet, and I don't remember what I told you guys about them at the time. Something along the lines of, I wasn't going to plant them then when I was planting the rest of the field, but I had a different plan for the vetch seed. And today, that plan will be executed. I was talking with my friend Carson. His YouTube channel is The Rip Ranch. I've talked about him before. And he was asking if I had ever thought about planting peas in with my 3-way forage mix. I told him no, because I've never really heard of anybody doing this, but come to find out, this is fairly common practice, and the reason that you would do that is to boost the protein of that hay, but then because peas are a legume, they also improve the quality of the soil. Then I noticed another friend with a YouTube channel, Brian at the Luthi Ranch, and he planted peas with his 3-way as well. So Brian and I were talking about it a little bit, And I asked him, what do you spray on that hay? Because wouldn't anything that kills broadleaf weeds also kill those peas? And apparently Brian has cleaner fields than I do, and he doesn't have to spray them with anything, and that is why that works. And after talking with Carson about it, he kind of told me the same thing, that if you're going to put peas in with the three-way, that you're not going to be able to spray it. For a while that was that. I didn't really give it much more thought, but you know, it did kind of keep popping back into my head that I wished I would be able to do that so that I could boost the protein of my hay, because I do know that that is a shortcoming of what I grow. So time went by, I thought about it some more, and then finally one day it dawned on me, well, why couldn't you just go and spread the seed after you spray the hayfield? I guess the kicker here with peas especially is that the seeds are big, so they're just going to sit on top of the ground, and the germination would probably not be that great if you threw the pea seeds out there you know, a couple months after you plant the hayfield. So then I thought, well, there are more legumes than just peas. What about alfalfa? Alfalfa has a really tiny seed. I mean, it's almost like a grain of sand, and it does not need to be covered hardly at all. So I thought, well, that would be great. We know cows like alfalfa, and that will put nitrogen in the ground. That'll add protein to the hay. Alfalfa is the logical choice. But after thinking about it some more, I decided that maybe alfalfa wouldn't be good, because if you throw it out there when the three-way is already established, and like as is the case right now, some of it is 6 to 8 inches tall, I just don't see how the alfalfa could outgrow that stuff and not just be crowded out by it. So peas are out, alfalfa's out. What about vetch? Vetch is kind of a compromise of several of these things. The seed is bigger than alfalfa but smaller than peas, so I think that it will work its way down into crevices, and I think the germ will be okay. I don't think it's going to be awesome, but I think that some of this stuff will certainly grow just by spreading it on top of the ground. And the other good thing about vetch is that it climbs. I think that the vetch will have enough climbing ability to not get crowded out by the three-way seed that's already out there. So that's what I picked and why I picked it. And you can see I've only got 2 bags here, so 100 pounds. And I'm not sure what my seed rate is going to be. I would say somewhere in the neighborhood of like 10 to 20 pounds per acre overseeded should be about right, to see if there's anything to this idea. And that's what we're going to try to do today. The first thing we want to do is close the gates, because I'm going to load the vetch right here and I don't want it bouncing out while we're going down the road. So if everything goes as planned, I think that this will work, but it's not going to be something that's going to be possible every year, just because a lot of years that field would just be too wet and too soft to get a tractor out there. But it just so happens that I think today is the perfect day to spread this seed, because we haven't had rain for, gosh, probably over a month now. And when I was out there spraying yesterday, I could tell that the ground was plenty hard enough to get a tractor out there. But then tomorrow we're supposed to start getting rain again for the next week, so that ground will be nice and wet, and hopefully this vetch will sprout. Like I kind of mentioned before, I don't have a rate setting, so I don't really know where to set the gate on this thing. I'm thinking to just open it, you know, just to the point where the seed is falling out, and probably not much more beyond that. And so I don't forget where the vetch seed is at when it comes time to cut the hay. We'll know that we're just a little bit to the side of the old pressure tank over there. And you know, I guess one could say that if you can't tell where you planted it, then this really didn't work, and it didn't germinate, and it didn't grow the way that you want it to. I'm hoping and kind of thinking that it will be obvious where we do this. I don't know, it just seems silly to clean that seed out anywhere but here. Well, like I mentioned before, the rain is coming tomorrow, and that means that the days of, you know, dry ground, no mud, no puddles are probably going to be behind us for a little while, which is fine. You know, as they always say, we need it. But because of that, there's a couple of jobs that I would like to get done before the rain does come. The first one being get these bales of alfalfa out of the back of my truck. I grabbed these for the bottle calf today, and I want to get them in the barn so that they are safe when the rain comes. And I thought what I might do is just throw these bales in the bucket of the LS and take it down to the ranch, and once we get these unloaded, I want to try to get that broken up concrete pile moved, because where I plan on putting it, it's not to say that I can't get there when it's wet and muddy, but I don't want to tear things up that bad. So it'd be nice to get that moved and out of the way right now. Since I've carried one of these, I guess we may as well go ahead and see how he likes it. I don't know. Try this. I got something for you. What do you think about that? Well, there you go. He likes it. Who'd have thought? Probably everybody. And it seems like I often tell you guys, man, good thing you're not here, because this whatever smells so terrible. But today I'm going to say it's too bad you're not here, because this alfalfa smells amazing. It's no surprise that the little man's digging in. You can see I've got most all of this stuff piled up over here. I'd like to get it moved out of here and scrape this area to kind of try to get a little bit closer to being done. But I still have these big slabs here that I need to break up. All right, vest is coming off. I pretty well got the top layer broken up, so I think I'm going to pull the LS over, load that up, and then there's still another slab down below that I need to break. And I actually don't mind running the sledgehammer and breaking the concrete. It's actually very gratifying. Loading the bucket is actually the part that I don't like. That's looking like a load. My hope is that I can finally get rid of this big mud hole here, and the idea is to kind of put like a base layer of crushed up concrete, put a culvert pipe on top of that, and then put a little bit of crush on either side of the culvert, and then top it off with sand or gravel or something that will be good for the animals to walk on and for me to drive on. You can see we got room for plenty more on the other side of the threshold there, and then there's a couple of low spots here as well. So I'm optimistic that I can get all of that crushed up concrete hauled into that hole and get it covered up and basically make it disappear. Well, I'm starting to lose daylight, so I think I'm just gonna keep chugging away on this and try to get it done. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys, and I hope I'll see you again on Farmer Tyler Ranch.